Tuesday, January 27th, 2026, and we've got a major signal for another big storm coming here soon. So let's start talking about that. Here we go. This is the day 5 winter storms outlook for January 31st through February 1st. That's Saturday and Sunday. Coming up, we do have a 15% probability of a winter storm. Anywhere from Myrtle Beach all the way up through North Carolina, the vast majority of the state, most of Virginia as well, a little bit of West Virginia, Maryland, all of Delaware, all of New Jersey, a little bit of Pennsylvania, New York, and Massachusetts. We've got all of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and a small tiny bit of New Hampshire, and Maine in there, even a little bit of Nova Scotia. This is our first real signal for this storm to be strong enough. The signal for this storm is now strong enough to talk about. Okay, I think we're definitely going to have a storm. The question now is exactly where do we get snow? It does look like it's becoming increasingly likely for the areas that we just talked about. And then from Sunday into Monday, this becomes a bigger deal for southern New England up into interior portions of New England and the Northeast. So let's talk about what the models are showing. So you may have heard some headlines about a bomb cyclone, and what everybody's talking about is the formation of a very strong storm here as a result of a clipper coming down over the Great Lakes meeting up with some pretty potent Gulf of Mexico energy. And both of these pieces of energy are pretty strong. And when you put all that together, we do get a very strong low pressure center over here. Potentially a 965 millibar low pressure center off the coast of North Carolina on Sunday, February 1st. That's pretty much a hurricane. And of course, whoever ends up on the western side of that in the cold area is going to get absolutely clobbered with snow. According to the latest GFS, that's mostly fish, but this does drop a ton of snow in North Carolina out there around Greenville. This is potentially showing well over a foot of snow. We're not going to talk too much about totals right now because we all know that's going to change significantly. But this shows decent snow all the way down into Savannah, Georgia. But notice how the GFS does take the low pressure center offshore and makes it a fish storm for the most part, and really spares I-95 between DC and Boston. Now, let's take a look at the European model, which was the star or the MVP of our last storm. It did the best job of predicting things around this far out. And what it shows is very similar to the GFS. Actually, it's the same strength. So this is actually really interesting. Both the GFS and the European model are pretty much in line here, showing basically the exact same thing. This one also kind of skirts the Northeast here, but dumps a ton of snow on South Carolina, North Carolina, Southeast Virginia. This would be like an all-timer for Virginia Beach. This would be an all-timer for probably some southern portions of Maryland over there. We're going to keep a close eye on this, but remember, don't get emotionally involved here. This is showing 2 feet of snow right now in North Carolina. If this time, 4 or 5 days from now, it's dumping a bunch of snow over here and you're getting all rain in North Carolina, don't blame me. Blame yourself for getting too emotionally involved, okay? Honestly, it could go anywhere. Like anybody in this whole area here needs to be kind of like sniffing this one out, because I could see this going out to sea and I could see this also coming a little bit farther inland. The thing that I'm pretty confident with, I think, is it's probably not going to do exactly what it's showing right now. You never want to be in the bullseye 5 days out if you're a snow lover. So there's a pretty good chance that this will change from what we're seeing right now. But just for fun, let's take a look at the national blend of models. This is the GFS and the Euro plus a bunch of other models all smooshed together. And you can see that once we average everything out, the I-95 corridor still gets hit by a storm here. We're showing 7 inches of snow in Washington, D.C., 7 inches in Philadelphia, 7 inches in New York City, maybe an additional 9 or 10 inches in Boston on top of the 2 feet you already have, widespread 6 inches in Maine. And once again, this is an average. So, the icon, the Canadian, everything put together, we do have several models that show a track closer to the coast, which is why we're showing snow totals up here. But you can see places like Richmond, Virginia have higher amounts. Not necessarily because we're confident that it's going to snow heavier there or anything, but it's just there's a lot more models showing snow in Richmond. So the average ends up higher. And we've got 7 inches all the way down there to Raleigh, 6 inches in Charlotte, 4 inches in Myrtle Beach, maybe even an inch of snow in Savannah, Georgia. So that's what we're looking at right now. I think that this will change, but this is a good signal for a major East Coast storm. I think that we're probably in that 15 to 30% range where it's safe to start talking about it, but it's not safe to get emotionally involved. Now, here's the thing that's definitely going to happen. Some crazy cold is going to come around the backside of the storm. You think it's cold right now? Look at me. You think it's cold right now? You ain't seen cold. All right. And this is actually pretty unfortunate for folks in the Tennessee Valley who may still be without power on Saturday, January 31st, which is a possibility, by the way, which it's unbelievable what's happened down there. But here we go. Another Arctic blast is going to come around the backside of this low-pressure system, probably the most powerful one of the year so far, and it's going to plummet temperatures down 30 degrees below average. This one goes way south. Look at this. We're going to talk about some really cold temperatures all the way down to Miami. This is going to be unusually cold all the way down into Florida, maybe even the Bahamas, Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula. The fish in the Gulf are going to be freezing. Like, this is some next-level cold here. Of course, it decides to stick around for a while. I couldn't tell you the next time a lot of us are going to see a temperature above freezing, especially in the Ohio Valley. There's no end in sight. Here's the potential low temperatures Monday morning. Yeah, that's right. 38 degrees in Miami. Just north of Miami, West Palm Beach, 34 degrees. We could be below freezing in Vero Beach, below freezing in Arcadia, Sebring, 31 degrees in Orlando. Okay, we're talking about 28 degrees in Jacksonville, 24 degrees in Tallahassee potentially. So this is of course not locked in or anything, but it's definitely going to be cold Monday and Tuesday morning. Get ready for that. And we say that's cold. But we're talking about single-digit temperatures over here in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. And then, of course, it's going to be cold up into the Northeast as well. And there's no break for us in the Ohio Valley or Tennessee Valley. It's not going to be quite as cold as it is this morning, but it'll be cold in Nashville, still all the way up to Chicago, back up to Minneapolis and Bismarck. Everybody's cold, really. The only places that are not going to be cold on Monday morning are way over here in the Southwest. Everybody else, though, is cold. This is some of the more widespread cold I've ever seen. And this pattern is going to go on for a while. But notice how the warmth in the west is expected to expand a little bit. It's going to expand just from the southwest portion of the United States, and it's going to cross over potentially into the northern plains. We could see a period of time where we get a little bit above average in Minneapolis and Bismarck, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Denver. But the cold temperatures are sticking around for quite some time from Miami all the way up to Chicago, from Dallas all the way up to New York and Boston. Is it going to stay this way forever? No. We're going to see another pattern flip here at some point, but for now, we're locked into winter. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching Michael Carter Weather. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. It's going to be interesting. Goodbye.